Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and on this channel we make art and it's fun, not scary. And I think no matter your skill level with watercolor, there's an element of it's always possible to just have a painting go sort of off the rails and you end up with something that to you feels totally unsavable or not salvageable. It still happens to me from time to time, and so today I wanted to share what I do when that happens, and hint, it has a lot to do with a black fine liner or black brush pen. And so we're going to get into how I illustrate on sort of on top of a bad painting and make it into something that I'm actually really happy with. So join me as I show you how to fix an unfixable watercolor painting. So a week before last, I did a video here on YouTube and I put out a reel on Instagram about kind of making your flowers, your watercolor florals, have a bit more depth and appear more natural. And anyways, I shot some content, and when I'm shooting, things don't always go well. When I'm shooting, anytime I'm painting, things don't necessarily go well. And if the water kind of gets away from me and things aren't going the way I want, typically I try to press through. But when I don't press through, if I've got a large sheet, I will rip stuff up, and then like if you bought a print from me, say, you might get this with a little handwritten note or something. So that's what I use it for. And I use it for practice and to collage. And, you know, there's all kinds of uses for stuff like that. So don't ever feel like you need to just toss out those sorts of things. But this larger piece here, I believe I was filming either for Instagram or YouTube. And, you know, I'm focused on filming and light and all these different factors, and the water, you can see, really got away from me, and I wasn't getting a good amount of detail, not enough precision. It looks to me like I had too much paint in the brush and just really wasn't in control of the medium the way I wanted to be. So today I thought it would be fun first to talk a little about what I do, how I just rip stuff up, and kind of once you start ripping it, like you just take a ruler and rip some straight edges, or fairly straight. Once you do that, it suddenly makes like your not so great work look so pretty, like these little ripped note cards. But what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about how I would fix something like this simply using pen. So grab a fine liner, or what you really want is a good quality brush pen. And this one is from Etcher. Just get a good look at it there. Etcher sent me these pens, and I haven't worked with them a ton, but when I have used them, I really like them. So you can see this is a brush pen. It's not like a fine liner nib. It's actually shaped like a paintbrush. And so that's going to allow me to add these really beautiful lines to this. And it's going to, I guess, really fit well with the watercolor flowers. Like, you can use the brush pen a lot like a watercolor brush. You can just barely touch it to the paper. Let's start with a leaf first. You can barely touch it, and then you can add that extra pressure and then let go of that pressure again, or let that pressure up. So you can create very delicate shapes, or you can, you know, give yourself something really dramatic. It's all about the pressure, just like it is when you're using your watercolor brush. So what I want to do here is help this painting out a little bit by adding what I have lovingly called over the years my sketchy black lines. And that is going to just help this piece have the detail and precision that it needs, that it requires. Right now, as I said, you can see, I know I'm gonna get so many comments like, it looks great, you know, and it looks fine. It's just, if a lesson kind of gets off track and I'm not showing what I want to, I tend to start over. Well, I shouldn't say that. I try to push through. Because otherwise you just get in a habit of starting over, and that's no good. It's not helpful. But when I do have a piece like this where it's a bit lost, adding my sketchy black line allows me to draw in all the details that I struggled to paint. And that can be really comforting, especially if you're learning to paint, but you do have some background with drawing, with illustration, or frankly, maybe you just feel more comfortable with a pen or pencil in your hand. I think that's a lot of us. And so it can be really nice to just kind of get loose with your paint and see what you can do and see what maybe you need to work on. And then you come in later when the piece is dry with your pen, and that's when you add those precise details. So if you are struggling to add them with watercolor, no worries, you'll just do it later with pen. And when I started the channel, that's all I did because I really wasn't confident with my watercolors. So I would kind of just play around, and then I would add all those precise details with a black fine liner or something later on. There we go. So all I've done is kind of follow the veining lines on the leaves, added some extra ones, you know, gone over the stems a bit. There, you can add details that aren't even there, like this flower really should have some kind of sepal, so you can draw in whatever you may need. And then I do like to do the stamens just by doing like kind of a crown of dots. Not all that different from how I suggest that you paint them. And if you want to paint this beautiful loose floral, and we talk a lot in this tutorial about kind of achieving that sense of depth and making flowers that look natural and compositions that have a nice balance and flow. This video is on YouTube, and I will link it below, but you'll also just find it if you're on my channel because it's only a week or two old. And then how much detail you actually add on the flowers is up to you. I'm already thinking like, this looks pretty good, just having that extra detail in the sepals, in the leaves, and the stamens at the center of the flower. Like, that's doing a lot for this. We could leave it here and have the flowers be really loose, but for the sake of talking it through today, let's add some detail to these petals. And I tend to like to let my illustration go off of the painting. I don't want it to match perfectly. I want it to be a little off. So there we go. That's looking pretty. Oh, it's all coming together now. It's all coming together. So for that sort of front petal, think of kind of drawing a bowl where you're looking at the bowl from the side. So you've got that kind of long, thin petal at the front, and then the rest of the petals might be more regular shape. And I will use just the tip of the brush, and then I'll add more pressure wherever I want that thicker line. So say, let's start with the center petal here, really thin lines, but I'm going to thicken the lines near the center, near the stamen. And I just like to have a bit of fun with it, just like when I'm painting. Just kind of flick that brush and see what you get. Don't take it too serious. After all, this is like just messed up work. So, you know, you definitely don't want to get hung up like feeling pressure. You are just going to see is this something you can fix? If so, great. If not, no biggie. And over here, let's do kind of long horizontal bottom petal and another one, and then these guys will be a little larger and longer. If you are looking for more info, more lessons on foreshortening and achieving that depth. I do have a wonderful floral illustration e-course, and I will link that below. You can go to shaydacampbellcourses.com and check it out. It's new within the last 6 months. It's something I'm very proud of. I believe that illustration is kind of at the heart of all the art that I do anyways. So I love teaching illustration and helping you to draw more confidently. Okay. I like doing a few lines that are just kind of like, are you on a leaf? No, you're just a line. You're a rogue line. You play by your own rules. There we go. I like that a lot. So you can see I kind of follow the shapes that are there, and I also don't. And I think that is what makes this so exciting. And we can actually also add some leaves that are going to be just drawn in. And that way, I find adding some leaves that don't have any paint, that really helps the whole thing look tied together and feel very tied together. So yeah, maybe even one more petal up on this guy that has really no color. That's good. I like that. Cool. Awesome. We can do just a few more little shading lines, little lines showing that the petals are textured and that they're a little bit ruffled, and yeah, it just adds a beautiful amount of detail. But that is how I would save a messed up, unsavable painting. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. I always enjoy a good fix it, save your painting moment. Don't throw it in the trash if you don't have to. So I hope that this will help you to, salvage some work that is probably very much more salvageable than you think. You're always your own worst critic. Don't forget that. And if you are still learning with watercolor, I wanted to let you know that I do have a watercolor e-course. I actually have 2 of them. There's a beginner level. It goes through everything that you need to know to get started: paper types, brushes, different types of watercolor paint. And these are the things that I don't always have time to get into on YouTube. I do have a lot of free content on YouTube, but in the watercolor courses, everything is very linear from start to finish, and I'm very proud of these learning materials, and they're also very well priced. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that those are available on my website, shaydacampbell.com, or go directly to shaydacampbellcourses.com and check them out. And I also have a new floral illustration e-course. If you are adding those sketchy black lines to your flowers, if you're working with brush pens or fine liners and you're wanting to up your floral illustration game, I just launched a course last fall and I'm incredibly proud of it, and you should go check it out. So head over to shaydacampbellcourses.com to see my e-course library, and I will see you soon with a new tutorial. Thanks for watching today, guys, and if you want to help a girl out, hit that subscribe button. It's all you got to do. Hit the subscribe button. See you soon.